My next guest is finally going to make his UFC debut, taking on Alex Reyes, UFC Fight Night, February 25th. It's right around the corner. It's Trevor Peek joining me here on the program. Trevor, how are you?
Doing great, man. Doing great. How's life been treating you?
It's been treating me great, but I'm not going to be making my UFC debut in a few weeks here, man. When did you find out? Did you get a full camp for this one? It's kind of seemed like it.
Pretty good camp. I think I found out about roughly about 8 weeks out, something like that. So it was a pretty good bit of time for me to get ready and everything. So yeah, I've had a good camp.
Did you want to fight sooner than this? Obviously, the last time we saw you was when you won the contract on Contender Series. It seems like they're slowly rolling out those winners now on each card. Was that the case for you, or was there a reason that you haven't fought since the show?
I had a couple little minor injuries just from like so many camps back to back, just nothing major, but just a couple of things that I wanted to, get all the way 100% before I took a fight. And this is about, I mean, yeah, if everything would have been right and I'd have been healthier, I would have liked to have fought a little bit sooner than this. But we've got everything checked off the list, and I feel great and ready to go. So it's the stars are lining, man. I'm ready to go.
That's awesome. And I see you're wearing the Ruby sports shirt there. I don't believe you had management the last time we did our interview, or at least not with Ruby. Tell me how that came together with you signing with them.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I actually was signed with Ruby when the last time we did our.
Oh, we did. Oh, maybe I just didn't notice. My bad. Sorry, Danny, if you're watching this, but yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. I fought David Robbins back last January, and after that fight, man, I had so many people reach out to me. So many. I mean, I probably anywhere from 5 to 10 different management teams reach out to me, and I'd had a conversation with Steve Swedish over at Ruby Sports, and man, after I talked to him, I didn't even really entertain anybody else. I mean, I had so many different opportunities, but man, after I talked to Steve, it was one of them conversations that I knew like that him and I could have a personal relationship. You know what I mean? More than just hey man, you got to fight this day if you want it. Just business. I wanted more than business, so I definitely feel like I made the right decision going with Steve. I mean, he's just been such a blessing and made my life so much easier, man. It really makes everything just go smoothly for me.
Yeah, no, that's awesome to hear, man. So they tell you you're fighting Alex Reyes in your UFC debut. How surprised would you be just with the fact that obviously Alex has not fought in 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, I was little worried. I didn't really understand like why he was even on the roster. You know what I mean? After that long of a layoff, but after I got to hear more about his story and due to health concerns and everything, it made more sense. But yeah, I'm excited for the matchup, man. And I I think I've done like 4 or 5 interviews, and not one person has brought up like him being Dominic Reyes' older brother.
Brother, yeah, I know. Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
I didn't even know that till probably about probably about 4 days ago. I found that out, man. I was like, because somebody messaged me and was like, he looks like Dominic Reyes, and I didn't think much more about it. And then a teammate of mine here was discussing it with me, and he was like, yeah, man, he's Dominic's older brother. And I was like, well, who would have thought?
Well, I think it's hard too. They don't train together, right? And I know just recently Dominic has moved out east to train with Glover Teixeira and those guys. So it's understandable why people. It's not like they're the Diaz brothers, like they train together, right? So I could see the confusion there. People might not knowing that. So to your credit, I should say. So now that you've obviously had a chance to look him up and all that, how do you feel like you match up against him? And also, two-part question to this: how do you prepare for a guy that hasn't fought in 5 years?
So what was the first part again?
For first part was just, how do you feel like your skill set matches up against his? And then my second question was just, how do you prepare for a guy you haven't seen in 5 years?
I feel like I match up against him very well, man. He seems to be more of like a slow starter at times, and I'm other than the Contender Series fight, which I mean a lot of nerves was in that one, but for the most part throughout my whole amateur and pro career, man, I'm a pretty fast starter, and he's got some things that he does really really well, and I've got some things that I do really well, and I'm excited for it. As far as preparing for him goes, man, I'm just doing my best to just be ready and open minded for anything he throws at me. I think he done some things so well before the layoff. He had some certain things that he does really well, and I feel like he'll bring them back to the table. And it's a long time. I mean, just from 5 years ago from when I started till now, I mean, I'm a completely different fighter. So you never know what you're getting in there with. I mean, from fight to fight, people can make drastic improvements, and let alone 5 years, man. That's a very long time to be a completely different fighter. But I think with I think ring rust is a thing. Maybe not for every individual in the world, but I believe it. I believe it. I believe it. Like, it exists with most people, and with that ring rust type stuff there, man, and tunnel vision and nerves, like you're gonna. I would almost guarantee you, like, you're gonna fall back on instinctive type things, and I just feel like the things that he did really well in his previous fights, he'll definitely, like, them things will resurface. So I'm just going to game plan and to the best of my ability, and just be ready for whatever he's got to offer, man. He wants to stand and bang, we'll do that, and if he wants to grapple, well, I'm ready for that too.
Training partners, who have been some of the main guys helping you get ready for this fight?
Man, the absolute main training partner I got is Mr. Torres Finney. I have I'm blessed with a bunch of individuals here at Agogi Combatives in Chattanooga, Tennessee, but man, I got to give props to Torres. He absolutely is just a machine. He's one of them guys. I mean, I need him with whatever I want to, and he always keeps coming forward. And if something happens, we ain't got many guys in the gym that day or something, and I can always count on Torres to give me some rounds. I mean, we both live at the gym here. I can literally go wake him up at. Well, probably don't have to wake him up. I can go down there and get him at 3 o'clock in the morning and just tell him, let's go get some rounds, and he's all for it, man. He ain't never shied away or anything like that. So mad props to Torres Finney. He is an absolute machine. He'll be on the he'll be in the UFC by the end of the year. I'm almost 100% sure of it, man. I mean, I've watched him hold ranked UFC guys down and just hold them down like it's nothing. So he's definitely elite caliber athlete, and I'm just super thankful for him.
Who's going to be making the trip down there with you as far as your corner for this fight?
I'll have my longtime coach Jeff Powell. He's going to come out there. I get about all my striking from Jeff. I've just been so blessed to be able to have him in my corner and in my life. He's been such a blessing. And I'll have Sterling Peace and Matt Harris. They're killers, man. I couldn't pick a better group of guys that to be in my corner. Not only are they great coaches, but they love and care about me, and I'm just so thankful and blessed to have them in my life. They've helping make this stuff so much easier for me, and just I can't stress to them enough how much I appreciate them.
How's this fight playing out on February 25th?
Oh man, I'm going in there and getting the finish. I need that knockout bonus pretty bad. I mean, somebody asked me the other day how important that 100% finish rate was to me, and I mean it means so much to me, man. I mean, I want to be an entertainer. I mean, that's my fans. They're the reason I do this stuff, and I know at the level of competition that I'm in, like, decisions they're probably gonna happen, sometime, but the goal is to not ever let a decision come up, man. I just want to be a finishing machine, and always get my hand raised on a finish.
At the top of your division, we just had an amazing fight on the weekend. We had Alex Volkanovski and Islam Makhachev. I'm sure you caught the fight. I was just curious, just your overall thoughts on the fight, and how did you score it? Because some people feel like Volk did enough to win. What do you think?
Man, I thought it was a doggone war. It was just an absolute. It delivered to the expectations. I could see them going either way with it. Everybody always says if you want to beat the champ, you got to beat the champ, and but I was hoping Volk pulled it off, man. I had a lot of respect to him for going up and doing the things that he's done in his division, and challenging himself and daring to be great, man. I could have given the fight to Volk just as easy, if not easier, man. I mean, the things he was doing was way more entertaining. I mean, you seen their faces at the end of the fight. I mean, Volk didn't have hardly any damage. Makhachev looked like he'd gotten pretty roughed up. So, I mean, I thought Volk kind of won, but at the same time, you can't hate on them for what they picked, really, man, because you got to beat the champ.
We're looking forward to your debut, Trevor, man. I can't wait. UFC Fight Night, February 25th. If there's anyone you'd like to thank before we get out of here, Trevor, the floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, I just want to thank, my manager, Steve Swedish, over at Ruby Sports and Entertainment, for doing everything that he does. Thank all of my coaches here at Agogi Combatives. I mean, all my teammates here too, man. I just can't say it enough how much they help me out, you know, giving me a place to stay, and just makes all this stuff so much easier, man. Jeff Powell for coming over and, you know, helping me out and critiquing my strike and getting everything, you know, ready. I ain't got my list with me, but, you know, all my sponsors and everything, you know, everybody that's made donations or supported me through their businesses, you know, y'all keep an old boy's dream alive for sure. I couldn't do this without all you guys and all my family and all my friends, fans. You know, it's just y'all in my heart. You know, I'm gonna go in there and, you know, try to get this job done and do it, and, you know, do it in some, just try to do it good fashion, and maybe they'll put me up in an arena next time so you guys can actually afford to come, man. Them tickets at the Apex are ridiculous, man. They told me them ticket prices, and I was like, well, I'll probably gonna have many people come, but,
Yeah.
you know, I'm just gonna go in there and do what I'm supposed to do, and then, you know, maybe they'll be forced to put me in an arena, and then, most importantly, you know, I just want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I'm nothing. I'm nothing without Him, man. I mean, I'm really not. I've lived life without Him, and I've lived life with Him, and then even at times kind of drifted away from Him, and he makes everything, you know, everything worth it. You know, everybody's got trials and tribulations and, you know, hardships that we all have to endure and overcome. But I'm just thankful that, you know, I come to know who Jesus is, and that I don't have to go through the hardships and trials and tribulations, you know, by myself. And to anybody out there that, you know, if you're feeling lost and, you know, scared and don't really know what to do in life, and you ain't got no sense of which way to go, I would strongly consider, you know, maybe turning your life over to Jesus Christ, and, you know, letting him lead the way for a little bit. We all try to lead our own way, man, and it gets hard sometimes. But and just thank you, James, for having me on, man. I really appreciate your time, and always enjoy the interviews, man.